like food's such a core element of the show, but it's not the show. The show is, which I'm sure most of you have figured out, is uncovering the layers that make up someone who they are. No substitutes. It's no sides. There's no changing anything. Hey there, I'm Lumi Ray, and welcome to No Substitutes, the podcast where we unveil just what makes someone who they are. The ingredients, the amuse-bouche, the everything. I want to talk about everything. And today is actually just me, so, but I'm an open book, you know? I'm willing to share whatever you guys want to know about me. There's nothing to hide, so let's get into it.
Okay, and so before we really get into everything, a lot of people that are listening to this for the very first time, they don't realize how much work actually this took. We've been talking about this for a year.
Yeah.
And it went through so many different phases of this is how we're gonna do it, and then and then changing things up constantly. And I appreciate you being so patient with me.
Well, same.
Yeah. So I'm kind of I guess just for me to be be selfish and then ask a question that's kind of about me. What did you think the very first time, what was going through your head the first time we met? And how is that different from where we're at now when we're 1 week away from officially launching?
Well, honestly, I mean, just when I went and shot my first, I feel like after doing that, I was kind of just you know what, I'm going to at least trust my gut with everything. That at least in it's a very oversaturated business being in entertainment, but I definitely, knowing that you guys were associated with all the, same comedian friends we had. And I think, the best way to sell any product to someone is just letting them know that they're seen. And I felt seen, which is not a very easy thing to be in this industry. But I felt like you guys saw my potential and saw what kind of show we could build. And I felt very honored. And the Mexican restaurant was pretty mid, but
yeah,
it was okay for
yeah.
a meeting and to go over everything. So I was very honored. I was very happy. I was excited, and I'm still kind of in that same headspace. There's definitely days where I have imposter syndrome for sure, and what makes me think. I think when you start a podcast, at least for me, I don't know if everyone feels this way because so many people have podcasts now, but for me, there's definitely days where I'm what makes me think I'm so special that people want to hear what I have to say or hear the conversations that I have. There's this I don't know, I know I'm not narcissistic because I wouldn't be feeling this way, but there's a part of me that wonders if there's this narcissistic element within myself that needs feeding. Otherwise, why would I agree to do something like this? But it's also I like doing this. I like saying things. I like writing things. I like creating things that make people feel like they're not alone. And I hope through this podcast, that's what they feel. I hope the conversations they hear, the vulnerability they see from each guest, that they understand that it's not just, what's the craziest story you have? What's the best food you've had? It's not even food's such a core element of the show, but it's not the show. The show is, which I'm sure most of you have figured out, is uncovering the layers that make up someone who they are. No substitutes. It's no sides. There's no changing anything. Because I actually saw a quote recently that said, if you went back and you erased all your mistakes, you would be erasing yourself.
I love that.
So that's, so I'm very excited to see where the show goes in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this I told you, But when we had our first like in-person meeting, I was so nervous because I had already in my head like you are who I envisioned to be working with, and then I love her to death. There's this girl I work with a lot named, and she is
she's who introduced us.
she introduced us, and then she's a great stand-up comedian. She also works on like OnlyFans stuff.
Love it.
And then she was the one that was setting up a bunch of meetings with people. And I don't want to, I did something that maybe isn't the nicest thing, but I practiced on other people that I knew that maybe I'm not going to want to work with, but I want to make sure I have my pitch
That's
down
fair.
right.
Yeah.
If we're just, being like full disclosure.
Yeah.
And she gave me maybe advice that's good for other people but maybe I feel like didn't necessarily fit you. And then when she was like working with me on my pitch, she always said like, hey, don't give these girls compliments. They get compliments all day long. Just
I mean,
tell them you want to work with. And I was like, no, but because I kept saying like, no, I really want to work with Lumi. Like she's it. It's like, yeah, she hears that all the time. Don't tell her that. Just tell her what you want to do. I'm like,
I mean, whether I get it all the time or not, I know when it's genuine, when it's not. And honestly, like in entertainment, I feel like it's one thing when a corn director is like, I really want to work with you. I'm like, you just won't watch me get like versus you came to me with an idea. You came to me with a show already built in your head, and it fit my not only my brand, my aesthetic, and what I am. But also, you did all the heavy lifting. So it's like that. I've talked to people before because I've been on podcasts. I like doing this. This is fun. It's a fun way to make money. It's a fun way to like help reach, an audience and help people again feel like they're not alone in whatever way that manifests itself. But I definitely was like, I can't, because we talked about it earlier. I'm like, I've had people offer and producers or people tell me like I should do a podcast, but I was like, I don't know how to produce, I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to do the whole thing. And also I knew I didn't want to do a podcast about just that's like about being in the industry I'm in. I wanted it to be something that was going to be authentic. So I felt like hippie, maybe it was hippie, maybe not so hippie, but like I definitely felt like the stars aligned when you approached me with this idea, because I was like, wow, it was one of those moments where I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know like I was even worthy, or like someone would want to give me a show like that, someone would want to work with me in that realm of entertainment. So
that's good. That makes me that makes me feel so good.
Yeah,
I knew personally that I didn't want to make another like talk show, because there's so many. Or even just
like the comedy ones. Like I just knew I didn't like. And there's so many great shows out there that are raunchy and women driven, and it's great, but I just knew that if I was going to do a show, that's like one character I can do, and I don't, like, I already have to play characters in my other work. I want, if I'm going to do anything else, whether it's comedy, podcasting, writing, I want it to stay authentic. I want it to stay true to who I've always been. So the fact that I get to do this is a really, I'm very honored. I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm so happy, to hear that, because I tried my best to come prepared if I was going to talk to you. I did so much research, and I didn't want to just be like, hey, so food podcast, right?
Right.
And it's just we're talking about our favorite restaurants. That wasn't, I don't feel like that's not you. I wanted to like show you that like, hey, I have an idea that's for you specifically.
Yeah.
That I feel like fits you, and that.
No, for sure. And I mean, cooking, that's why like the show made sense to me, because food, just like any other life event, makes up so much of who we are. A dish can bring you back to your childhood. A dish can bring you back to the worst and best moments of your life. Just the scent of a certain food. Like even today I was walking around, I got this like scent of something, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm back in Paris again. Like it's so cool that like food and like any other senses can come alive when you smell or taste something, and it can bring you back to a moment and remind you of parts of yourself or events in your life that have made you who you are. So
do you
that's
have
what I don't know. That's what I knew was going to be the core of the show, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and then I as much as work I put into it, I also left a lot unfinished, so you can see that we can build it together.
No,
you
for
know, that
sure.
you also
And
got to
that's
flex
what
your
I
creative
was also
muscle.
grateful for, because I'm like so used to getting handed a script, being told what I'm gonna do, which I like to. Like it's very much like doing like that part of my work is like reminds me so much of cooking, because it's like, okay, I know my role, I know what I have to do to make it work, I know what I bring to the table at the end of the day, but this is like a whole new realm, and there's a lot more freedom, and it's like, and thankfully, like working with you guys, you've done really well at not making it feel like there's a lot of pressure, but in my own head, of course, there's this pressure of like, I want it to be good. I want people to like it. Or even if they don't, like, I just want people to understand it at least.
Yeah.
And resonate with at least one episode.
Right.
Like someone who's driving to work, someone who just got dumped. Like there's so many conversations we've had that I just feel like so many people feel alone in so many events in their life.
Right.
And that's the only thing, that's like been my main drive for the last few years when I decided to start doing entertainment. Not necessarily the porn part, but I knew I wanted to change that industry also in some way. So I'm starting to do like intimacy coordination now. And we'll hopefully, shift the whole industry to a more ethical way. It's already changed so much though, like even before I got in.
Can you explain exactly what that means? Like
ethical?
Well, no.
We have no idea.
We have no idea what that word means.
I mean, intimacy coordination, because I kind of know what that is on like a Hollywood set, but
well, it's honestly the same thing.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's like someone to oversee the sex scene, but with porn, it's like actual penetration. So it's like you do mental health check-ins before and after, and you just are kind of like you're pretty much like staying there with the director, overseeing like the sex scene. Everything else is kind of like the director's job, but you're definitely pretty much in the driver's seat when it comes to the sex scene. But yeah, because the other thing too is like I wouldn't have joined that industry any earlier, or if I did, I don't think it would have been the right move for me. And there are just so many things that people need to know and educate themselves on, and also do like some emotional and mental health work before they get into such a saturated and money-driven industry, because it can be you can get very blinded by that. You give an 18-year-old $1,000 on set, of course they're gonna think this is the greatest job ever. But the reality is, and I'm very happy with what I do, but there's so many things that like younger women don't know, or men. And I hope to educate and also make scenes and sets just, feel more safe. I hate how blurred lines will get sometimes and confused people get, and it just seems like communication is sometimes like the hardest thing on a set, where it should be taken seriously more than anything. But I'm also not the kind of person that's gonna be like, oh, I'm here to save in industry, because the other thing too is there's already people that have been doing that. I don't see myself as like
The trailblazer.
yeah, I'm not a trailblazer. I'm not the savior of anything.
Right.
I see other people doing certain things in the industry, and those have been like one of my biggest inspirations, and I just hope to contribute. I think whatever we do in life, it's really about that. Like, what do you contribute? What do you want to contribute? What do you bring to the table? Are you a high valued person? And you have to figure out the qualities that make you that, and what what you also want from other people. Otherwise, it's going to be very easy to get manipulated, and the lines are going to get blurred, and things are going to get, all you're going to see at the end of the day is like the money, or like the amount of girls I've talked to that have said that they don't even like remember certain scenes because they just check out. So it's like, I want
And
to.
that's heartbreaking hearing that.
Yeah, it sucks, because I'm like, for me, shooting made me more present in my body. And I'm not saying that works for everyone, but I also got in the industry at 24. Mm-hmm. And before that, I did years of therapy. I did years of like, whether it was like more of a spiritual thing or just like logistical thing. I've done years of figuring out, like, I've always been a sexual person, but I had to really dig deep and figure out the separation of like what was the actual sexual desire and what was coming from a deeper place, because that's another thing that people don't always talk about, and another thing that people don't even become aware of, whether it's choosing a partner or choosing a career like this. And if you're coming from a place of spite and resentment and hate, or any sort of place that is more like negatively driven, you're not gonna have a good time. And that's what sucks, because you could easily make this a job that's a job and feels like a job, but also is fun, and you got flexible hours, but it's just, there's a lot you have to learn before you get there.
I hope I'm not about to say something dumb, because I'm trying my best to learn as much as I can about the industry.
For sure.
But I wonder if there should be, maybe for like 18-year-olds getting into that industry, if there should be like a mental evaluation first.
I've talked to like a few people about it. I'm like, that would be so great. It's
not every 18-year-old is built the same.
No, for sure. I mean, when I was 18, I was working in kitchens, and I've worked in kitchens for a long time, and I owe so much of who I am. I mean, hopefully, like, me doing the show is like even giving back to all the people that taught me. Like, I hope they see the show and they're like, wow, she's staying true to who she is. But I owe so much of who I am in my morals, in my fucking work ethic. Like, I owe so much to my culinary career, and starting that when I was like 17, 18, and the person I became through that, it gave me so many great lessons. So, but also, like, every line cook should definitely have a mental evaluation. Yeah. But I was doing therapy all those years, so it was definitely necessary. But
I wish there wasn't a stigma on therapy. Like, I feel like there is. Well, maybe for guys, maybe, I don't know what it's like.
I don't know. I feel like it's like hot now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like, maybe now.
I feel like people I talk to now, like, everyone does therapy. I don't know.
Yeah, I put that literally on my. But also,
like, I think it is more. I feel like men tend to be more stubborn about it. Will be more like, I don't need to talk to someone. But, like, I feel like at least more the people I know around here and my friends and, like, my close circle, like, everyone's in therapy. I don't think I would hang out with anyone who's not in therapy.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like I'm about to be too personal, but I at least growing up, I didn't really have like an outlet to be vulnerable amongst friends. It wasn't anything that I ever like did.
No, that's that's
yeah.
why too. I think men need it more because there's all these years of repressing it. Like even my brother, like I have 3 brothers, and I'm like, man, I think they're the only ones who don't go to therapy.
Yeah.
In my family, but I guess there is kind of then still a stigma. It's not even a stigma. It's more like because I feel like I'll talk to men who are very into therapy, and then I'll talk to men that think it's like I just need to be a man about it. I'm like being a man about it is being self-aware and processing and dealing with it, not sweeping it under the rug and repressing and not talking about it, because then that's going to come up in ugly ways. And that's why I don't think a lot of people understand. It's like guys and girls and whoever else, like, cause I mean that's what it has been for me. Like anytime I repress things, it's gonna come out really ugly, and like
It's not
whether
good.
I drink or like get in a fight with someone, it's like then there's like it, because that's what pain and trauma or grief does. When we like don't process things, it's just pretty. In my head, I'm thinking it's just making space for itself and sitting in your body and just kind of waiting for its moment to fucking. And the more you ignore it, the more it's just gonna get louder and louder, and then something's gonna make you snap, and then you fucking explode on someone at the grocery store or driving, or you're out drinking with friends and everyone's having a good time. You have too many drinks, and then you are fighting with the bouncer or fighting with your girlfriend about like nothing.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Is like what I always tell people. I'm like, if you're gonna do therapy, like it's really just it's either journal or therapy. You need to do something that gets those feelings out,
right.
Because sitting with it. There's that Erykah Badu song. It's like one of my favorite songs, which I think this is what it's about. I might be wrong. It might straight up just be about a lady carrying grocery bags. But Bag Lady by Erykah Badu, I always liked because I thought about it as like our emotional baggage. And I think also like Eliza Schlesinger, some female comic, has a bit about mason jars. And when you're dating, you have all these mason jars, and it's like all that trauma, and you're just like putting it in your partner's apartment.
Like an Eliza book, for sure.
Just stuff like that. Like, but it is. It's that you start to criminalize it, and that's like not how emotions work. Emotions come.
Right.
You need to accept them, welcome them. Do not repress them. Don't resent them. Just even in the moments that you feel icked by yourself or not yourself, that's the moment we actually need to embrace it the most, because there's a lesson there. There's something that's gonna transform you into a better person. The worst moments of my life, the hardest moments, the most emotionally draining and devastating moments of my life, I wouldn't change anything. Because I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have the standards I have now. There's just so much bullshit and trauma and sadness that we all have to go through, but you have to decide what to do with that. And you have to decide, are you gonna carry that through life? Or are you gonna deal with it, process it, and so that you can just keep going. And also understand that that's not the last lesson you got.
Right.
There's even the other day I was reading something, because my biggest issue still to this day I'm trying to get better at is relationships. I tend to get in relationships and self-sabotage or run away or just not let someone in. So my new thing lately has been, instead of knowing something's gonna end, because for me, I just have abandonment issues. So my whole thing has always been leave them first. And that's not healthy. Because if I'm being honest, I'm a woman, and I do love to love someone, and I do love to let people in. And so my new mantra lately has been make peace with it. Whether it's so, because the thing is, it's like whether someone's gonna cheat on me or leave me or see me for who I am and not want to be around, I've learned that it's better to make peace with that and then just see where it goes than try to control it and try to run away or try to mold anything. Because for me, that's not even what I would want in a relationship. What I would want is for something to flow. And in order for it to flow, I have to accept I can't control everything. So that's my new mantra, is make peace with it. Make peace with whatever outcome is gonna happen. We
and
can't
it's a scary thing too.
It is.
In my head, it's weird how we convince ourselves that like, oh, this is a good way of doing things.
Right.
Like, what I did literally for like a while now was that I'm just like dating people and telling them like, yeah, this is just for like 3 months. And
it's always a 3 months. It's a 3 month mark, and then you're like, done.
And then you're just like, hey, yeah, we had a good 3 months, and then
we had a good run.
Yeah, and then like, why drag this out? And we're both hurt. Why don't we just have a solid 3 months? And in my head, that made sense. And then it was like a couple of my friends telling me like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like,
what's wrong with you?
Like, you're just like, you can't just go to these people and be like, yeah, and for no reason we're breaking up right now. I'm just making sure that, we just had a solid 3 months, and then that was it. We'll move on.
I get it.
And I got so comfortable doing that, and just telling myself like, yeah, this is a great way to live my life. I'm so happy doing this.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to just do the 3 months and then bail.
Yeah.
But I've been living in LA now for 2 years and dating and doing that whole thing, and it's never benefited me. Even in the moments where I'm like, oh, like it's my call. Mm-hmm. I walked out. I never felt good doing that.
Yeah, I think the thing that's stuck in my head now that I'm just using as another excuse to just keep doing the 3 month thing is that one day I would like to get married and have kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're in your early 20s, maybe even mid to late 20s, what you're doing is learning how to be in a relationship and how to be a good partner. Mm-hmm. So that when you do find the person you want to marry, you're who exactly that they need.
No, for sure. I mean, that's what dating is.
Right.
It's
like,
figuring out what you want. Like for me, I think for most women, I don't know if this is for guys too, but like I remember like the first person I ever was in love with, I felt anxiety around him all the time. And I thought that was like, oh, butterflies, romance, like passion. And then the older you get, the more you realize what you actually want is someone who feels good to your nervous system. Yeah. It makes you feel at peace. And you actually just feel like you get along with, instead of this chase. Because I think we all like the chase. Yeah. And it's fun. And you don't get what you want, but then at the end of the day, when you think about like life partners, it's like, you don't want that in a life partner. Right. I don't want to constantly have to figure out what they're thinking. I want to feel like I can communicate and be in something that I'm proud to be in versus something that I'm like hiding from social media and everything. So, hi guys. Yeah. Going live.
Oh, okay. Let's see if they have any questions.
Let's see. Anyone got questions? Let's see. How do I title this? Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
What app were you on?
I was just on the wrong Instagram.
Oh.
And it's like, wow, there's like no one on. No. Here we go.
That's like a big blow to the ego. Like,
I know. I was like,
no
where's
one's watching me
where's
right now?
everybody? Okay. There we go. But yeah. Oh, we still got time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we just hit the 30-minute mark, so
Okay.
maybe we do like another 10 minutes, and then we
Perfect.
set up for when Carlos gets here. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Anthony, do you have any questions while we're having new ones rolling right now?
Yeah, so I was curious, before you started, before you became a big star, essentially.
I am not. Thanks, guys.
Where did you cook beforehand?
I was cooking in Arcata, California, at a place where I started my cooking career was Renata's Creperie in Arcata.
Aren't crepes like really hard to make? Like, isn't that like an advanced thing, or am I?
I have a video of me doing it blindfolded.
That's wild.
No, it's
It's on
I
your
have to go
phone.
on my archives.
Yeah.
I worked there. I worked at a place called Phoenix Cafe, a place called Larapin Cafe. This is all in Northern California, and then I moved to the Bay Area and worked in Napa for a little bit at a place called The Grove.
The Grove sounds familiar.
That's in LA, right?
No,
No,
that was in.
I think there is a place here called that, but that's not where I work.
Yeah,
I haven't done restaurants here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was like the chef that you worked under that you feel like you learned the most from? Does that question even make sense?
No, it does.
Okay.
It's actually funny because it's. I'm trying to think. Maybe I don't know. There was like at least like 3 cooks at Renata's that taught me everything. But I don't know. I don't know if they want me to like share their names.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
But no, I mean I've worked every person I've worked under has. I've never been like, oh, that was a waste of time, or like I didn't learn anything. I think I learned more though when I had to train people. Like I learned more about my patience and learned how to be like a leader, especially in like a kitchen, is you get like drunk on power, but at the same time, it's the most humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because the other thing too is like if you're wrong and you're like
You're
the head cook, you're really wrong. So it's been fun. Hey guys, anyone have any questions? Because we're filming some things. So let's see. Hi. Yeah, there we go. I was like, why is no one on here? Now everyone's on here. Wait. Oh God. Someone said Brazil. Could you say hi, Juan Carlos?
No.
Arcata, humble.
We meant
Hi. Okay, I'm just gonna go down. Questions, answers. Hello. No? Favorite thing to make? People always ask me that, and I'm always like,
What's your favorite like you're in a hurry and you need to eat something, like you're running out the door?
I just make like these little breakfast sandwiches every day.
Nice.
Yeah, I make them for me and the boys.
What goes into your breakfast sandwich?
I will show you.
Perfect.
Oh, actually, no, I can't.
Okay.
Half of the ingredients I used up this morning, but it's just like an English muffin, chicken sage sausage, avocado, and eggs.
Oh, that sounds so
So
good.
a little,
amazing.
Yeah.
it's fuego.
Yeah.
It's the bomb.
The boys probably love it.
Oh yeah, no, I love feeding him.
It's kind of. I used to like when I was in college. Cooking was like one of my hobbies, and it was kind of funny how up until then, I refused to cook because I said how like difficult it was, and I don't have the time for it. And it's so easy. Like it's so easy to make something delicious.
Yeah.
You know, like
any like good recipe takes like 15 and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned that way too late in life. Yeah.
Like, if you're not one of those people.
So we talked about dating a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. So let's say you meet someone and you really want to show off. Like, what are you and you're cooking them for the first time. It's an intimate dinner. What are you cooking them?
I usually try to find out like what they like food-wise, or like if it's something from like their ethnic background. But I think if I'm just trying to like, I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to think. If I was gonna show off, I'd probably make gumbo. I'd probably make like my family recipe gumbo.
That sounds so good. Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have
or just like steak?
Yeah. Do you have a food deal breaker? Like, let's say this guy was perfect, everything you wanted, and you found out he likes well done steak only. Like, is that like you have to find
bad.
someone else?
Well, so I don't know. It's like because I didn't find out. Remy has to like eat meat like that. Like he has to eat steak.
But if it's like a dietary thing, that's different, right?
Yeah. But if I went on a date and the guy's preference was like,
that's what I mean.
Well done, I'd be like, okay, so you like dog food.
Yeah. And for health reasons, you get in my book, you get a pass because you have to eat it a certain way.
If it's a health thing or a dietary thing.
No, this guy, he can eat steak how it's supposed to be made, but he just goes well done. But he chooses to
no.
Yeah.
No. No. There's not going to be a second date.
Yeah.
No.
What if it was like, okay, I want to see how low down this list we can go until you accept it. What if he was just like a chicken nuggies guy? Like that was his favorite meal? But everything else is perfect.
His favorite meal?
Yeah, like he just wants microwave chicken nuggies.
Microwave?
He'll eat that for dinner if he was allowed to. Even that?
I don't know. He'd have to have like a really good personality to make up for that. Right. That'd be really hard. I'd be like, cause then in my head I'd be like, cool. So I can make you like a Wagyu steak or like a duck confit dinner, but I know in the back of your head all you want is Kraft mac and cheese and chicken nuggies, like you're 5 years old.
Okay, what if something in a future episode? I know I hate referencing future episodes, but I'm gonna do it because it's been stuck in my head. Sawyer mentioned that her boyfriend mixes all his food together, and I do that.
I'm gonna have him on the podcast, and we'll see. I'm gonna make him. We'll have him on. Should we have him on before or after lunch? I'll just like bring him a plate and just see what.
We'll figure out the timing.
Well, there's people who do that, and then there's people like my mom who are psychotic about their food touching. Like my mom will like literally make space between her food. If it's like on the same plate, she will freak out.
In my defense, it's just because I work and eat at the same time, so I just put everything in a bowl, and then I'm just like typing and working.
There's some food that makes sense, but then there's some food that doesn't necessarily. Like Mexican food.
I don't discriminate.
Any Mexican food dish, I will eat it in a bowl.
Yeah.
So like, my mom would always come in to Renata's and she would order like a sweet crepe, but then like wanted savory sides. Like that, I'm not gonna put on the same plate.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right.
Like people that do that, I'm like, you're insane. Okay. But also, yeah.
Okay, here's the last scenario I'm gonna throw at you. What if a guy just didn't like if food was just food to him? He wasn't like he never got excited about it. It was just whatever. Is that a deal breaker? Everything else is perfect.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like if you're not passionate about food, or like. I mean, I guess like food doesn't have to be the guy's passion, but like be passionate about something.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. He's passionate about, his hobbies. He has cool, exciting hobbies. Maybe I don't know. He's a car guy. He loves cars. Okay,
No.
not a car guy.
Okay.
He's a good
No.
painter. He's passionate about
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
And
That's
then
fine.
to him, it's just
Food's just food.
Food, just food.
That's fine. No,
Okay.
I get that. And also, I mean, even as a cook for years, I was never the kind of cook that got like a hard on for like certain spice. Like I've worked with chefs that were annoyingly passionate about food.
Okay.
I've never been that.
Okay.
So I don't expect anyone I date to be like obsessed with food. But I think for me, it's just like anyone I'm with at least needs to have passion
Yeah. Yeah. For,
for
yeah,
something.
I
For
think that's
something in life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be food, but have something.
Yeah. I
'cause-
think everyone should kind of have that
Yeah.
in what they want something.
Because like I mean I've dated people. Most people I've dated like don't like Star Wars as much as I like Star Wars, and I none of the relationships worked out. But
Well, then we know why now. Yeah. You got. How do you not like Star Wars? I don't know. I don't get it.
But I'm saying it's not a deal breaker
Yeah.
for them to not like Star Wars.
It should be though, maybe.
That should, but not food.
Yeah.
Noted.
Okay. Do you have any closing thoughts? As
Any
we're
closing thoughts? Let's see.
We're a little bit over a week away from launch.
Yes. We're a little over a week from launching.
Yeah, we're gonna launch first week of May.
We're launching the podcast first week in May, guys. Oh God. Okay, there's way too many people. I didn't know what I was doing. Any last questions? Because for me, last thoughts. Let's see. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to do the show. Yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a journey, and we're like staring at the finish. The next starting line, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm super grateful.
Yeah.
Excited to see where it goes.
All right, and I think that's a good way to end it.